Good morning, good evening, welcome to this week's live chat. Now, I've missed a few, so I've missed all of you guys who are jumping in and hanging out in this week's stream. It has just been a little bit chaotic, lots coming up, lots working. I had a bit of an eye infection one week and then too busy catching up with work on another week, and you know, stuff happens. Stuff absolutely happens. So, I'm back. I'm here. But one thing I really wanted to talk about today is we're seeing this proliferation of AI, right? Like let's just be honest, it's here. The AI is here. So I would like to know, so first question, I'm going to jump into the chat in just a second. But my first question I want you guys to think about, and throw your answers into the comment area, and if you're watching on the replay, pop them into the throw the answers in the chat, but if you're watching on the replay, pop them into the comment area. Sorry about that. My brain's still a little fried this morning. But the thing I wanted to ask you is, with AI out there and people writing these prompts that are like, okay, find some content or find a topic that my audience would be interested in, script a video, grab this AI voiceover to say the video, make this AI and they just use AI to create the B-roll, put it all together and upload it to the channel. And these prompters are able to do that so that a human hand never actually has to touch the content. They can actually prompt it in such a way that the AI agents just run around and do everything and then show this this finished video at the end. Now, I actually think that being able to prompt that well means you're an excellent AI prompter. But I want to know, do you consider that a content creator? Because in this sense of YouTube content creators, because I'm like, they're creating content, but they're not creating the content, if that makes any sense. Now, I've got nothing against AI tools. I use AI tools every day in my day-to-day job. I would not use them to replace me on my channel, even with my flaws and with my my emotional flaws where I stress out about, some of the comments sometimes. I still wouldn't replace myself on my channel with an AI persona. And I know that the VTubers have been out here a long, long time. I'm not talking about VTubers. I'm talking about fully created AI content. So while you guys think about that, I'm going to jump into the chat here because it's been rolling and it's distracting. Let me just tell you that. I've got Doug jumping in with the first GIF reply, so that's great. Live stream consultant, so good to see you. So good to see you. Andrew K. Andrew, I love it when you join the chat. I plead there is water. I beg, Chantelle. Well, there's coffee in this cup. I'll just say that. And it's like, hydrate, lots of hydrating. Princess. Better be water in that Yeti. Do you know what? There is. And I put fresh water and a new lid on it so that it was all nice and hygienic and ready to drink, and all there. So that it's all water in here. Well, it's clear liquid. I'm assuming that's water out of the tap. Dimmy Hart has made it to the chat. Great to see you here as well. Got plenty of water out there. Quick, no one speak. Oh, thanks, Doug. I mean, I suppose you could take it that way, couldn't you? Like, oh no, I find the chat distracting, don't talk. But isn't that the point, right? Like this whole, because I truly believe that now it's even more important now than ever to make live content, to go live in it, whether it be vertical, horizontal, whatever format, whatever platform you're on. Going live is how you're going to be connecting to your audience right now, because there is so much AI content out there. Not all of it's AI slop. Some of it's great. But I've just got, oh, there we go. That's better. I could hear myself through my headphones and I was just really distracted by that. And just this AI sort of content that's out there, which is not a bad thing. I just want to clear this up. Having some AI tools that you use to create your content, not a bad thing. One of the things that Daryl said in when he was a guest on Nick's stream this weekend, if you haven't seen that, go and watch the replay. It was gold. But one of the things he was saying was, you know, by using AI tools, there's things that he can put in some of their videos now that were just totally out of their budget, like some VFX and things like that, that was just not in their budget at all and is now totally within the realms. And being able to utilize some of these tools to sort of enhance the human content that you're creating, like, why would you not do that, honestly? But when it comes to like AI, finding the topic piece, writing the script, is the voice, creates the B-roll, I don't know, like, do you guys have opinions on this or not? Like, is this just one of these little hills that I'm just going to trip over for the day? I don't know. But it was just one of these things, sort of like, after I heard Daryl and Nick speaking about it, I sort of was trying to think of my stance on it. I was trying to work out where I draw the line, because, as I said, utilizing AI for clarification, for research, all of it, in my opinion, needs to be human verified. Honestly, I had a research project that I needed to do a while back, and it constantly kept getting the number of children of the person wrong. And I'm like, no, this person has 3 children, not 2. And the AI would be like, oh yeah, of course, you're so right, blah, blah, blah. They'd redo the script and they would still leave out the 3rd child. And it's just this weird thing. So using AI is one thing. Using AI without any human intervention and any human oversight, I think you're doing your audience a disservice. I think you're doing yourself a disservice. There's all this talk about, you know, kids these days are not able just to figure things out like what we did. So I grew up in an era where there was no computers at school, there was no social media, but my very first job was computer-based. And so, well, I mean, I had computer classes in school, but we had textbooks and notepads. We didn't take a laptop to school or anything like that. I should clarify that. And we have to like nut things out. We had to try and dig in and work out why something wasn't working. We had to research it and learn it and build these skills of working out how things work to get them to work again. And this is a skill that is being lost in our younger generations, because we can just Google everything. We don't actually need to nut it out anymore. We don't need to tinker and test and trial, because we can just go to Google and get the answers. Now, I do that sometimes, quite often actually now, because it saves me a lot of time. But if I don't have access to Google, or I don't have access to those sorts of things, I can still go all jiggery pokery, dig in under the hood and work out what the problem is. I can't always fix it, but I can work out what the problem is and go from there. So having all these tools at our fingertips is not necessarily a better thing for us as humans, as development. I was reading some research that students at school are actually less literate than the previous generation. And this is the first time in history, in recorded history, where that's happened. And I have to think, like, what's the difference between this generation of kids that's come through schools versus the last generation of kids that come through schools? Like, schools have always had their problems, let's be honest. But what's the difference here? And I think a big part of it is less books, less knowing how to just thumb through something and finding it, because they can just type it in and it just appears in front of them. I know that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff all at once. But anyway, I'm going to jump back in the chat here. Oh, Doug says I can speak now. Whoops. Livestream Consultant says that he did some very interesting research on the whole copyright thing about AI. According to the US Patent Office, even an exceptional prompt does not qualify the output as copyrightable. Absolutely. You're right. I've absolutely read that myself. And that the sheer number of people that believe that because they prompted it, therefore it's theirs, I think they're in for some rude shocks. When it comes time to sort of defend things in court, and you know, the stance that companies are starting to take, like look at what YouTube's doing about the inauthentic content, that the rules, that they haven't changed the rules around it, but they've really clarified the language about the inauthentic content on YouTube. And they've really tightened it down to be really obvious of what they're trying to get rid of. And I think having that clarified really just shines home what YouTube does and doesn't accept on their platform. So and if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to be going in and checking in on YouTube News. Doug talked about it. Nick's talked about it. You can go into the YouTube help and find it in there as well. So, it's just one of these things where you need to be understanding all of the rules on the platform that you're using, and the inauthentic content language changes, because the rules haven't changed, but the language has changed to clarify what those rules are. It really comes down to not spamming your channel, like with the same content over and over, like a hyper formulaic content. Like, so for an example, these channels that use an AI voice to read a emotional story or a Reddit story or something like that, like the single member of the family that's out of the family chat, and then they accidentally get added in, and they see all the stuff that the family are writing about them, and then they cut them off financially. But the imagery that's playing over it is just some what's that game where you jump over the trains and you get all the coins, and that game, and that's the imagery, but it's just the AI voice reading that. It's that kind of content where it's just those sorts of AI stories over and over again with the just random content. These are the sorts of things that these things that the inauthentic content is looking at. Livestream consultant says that it's from too much screen time. I agree with you, and I'm a screen junkie. I'm looking at 3 screens right now. I love screen time, but I also have old school crafts, knitting, crocheting, spinning, weaving. But as Doug said, young people, young and old, need to go and touch some grass every now and again. And I think that's actually a really important thing. Go outside, and I'm telling myself this too, go outside and just take in the world for a minute and just feel the breeze on your face and the grass under your feet. Just if you've got grass, like this is the thing, right? We say, go and touch grass. It's like, well, I live in an apartment. The nearest grass is 6 blocks away. And you're like, well, you know what? You need to go for that walk. Game Widows is here. She's enjoying her self-imposed rest week. You've earned that rest week. Game Widows had a stall at the largest sheep and wool show in Australia. If you are a sheep and wool show enthusiast, it's even bigger than Rhinebeck, which is one of the big ones in America that people always refer to. Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show is bigger than Rhinebeck. She's just knocked it out of the park this weekend. Deserves a break. Absolutely deserves a break. They own the content that AI puts out. It's just not copyrightable because the AI makes unprompted decisions on how it interprets what you have asked it, and that's the crux of copyright. Yes, it's the thought behind what is written. Livestream consultant says, I prefer them to touch dirt as we don't have grass out here in the desert. Good point. Game Widow says, I'm amused by someone referring to crafts as analog activities. Look, do you want to know something that's really funny about the analog activities? Is there are people making analog activity pouches. So they're like little bags with like spots for a book or a little spot for your knitting. And it's just like, that's a project bag. That's a project bag. Like why is it called an analog pouch? It's a project bag. So I think it's very cool. I think it's very cool that the things that we love are coming back in again. You got to love that when all of a sudden you've gone from old lady status to hip. And by calling it hip, I'm back to old lady status. But current. So yeah, touch earth. That's right. That's exactly right. Let's get in and just touch some earth. Whether it's dirt, whether it's sand, whether it's grass. If it's snow, you might want to have shoes on. get out there and breathe in the air. Well, again, there's some air out there that's probably not the best to breathe right now. So, but you guys will get the... Doug says, I'd put my laptop in it. It's like, and you could have it like a label, like analog project, and then just pull your laptop out. Just, yeah. I love that. I love that. Analog is just something done in an order, one thing after the other. Yeah. It's interesting why different names get chosen for some of these things every now and again. Like we have slow fashion. I don't know if you guys know about slow fashion. Where like I work in the slow fashion industry, as in I knit and I crochet. Therefore, I'm making the garments one stitch at a time. And also I'm making like individual garments. Like, so when I'm sewing and things like that, it's an individual garment. I'm not making a batch of, 150 in a day with my hidden sweatshop hiding in my backyard there. But, it's just like the problem with calling it slow fashion is fashion in itself is usually a season. And so by the time you've started and finished the item, is it actually still considered fashionable? Sometimes yes, absolutely. Sometimes you missed the window and it's now like, oh, that was last year's thing. Yeah, so it depends on how slow you are at your slow fashion. But yeah, it's quite interesting. So that the whole analog craft, yeah, I do. Slow fashion, that's me getting up at 4 a.m. Yeah, I sometimes move not quite as quickly as I would like first thing in the morning. Got to get the old joints going. Like, yes, we're bending and stretching and moving to maneuver our body to another part of the house that's not our bed. But yes, it's very interesting. It's all very interesting. So I like that Andrew checked I had water and then bailed. Slow prompting from Doug here. Look, I don't know. I'll be really frank. I'm not a great AI prompter. So when I was talking about these people that are going out and they're prompting their AI agents to do the whole slew of things that basically just presents them with a finished video, I don't know how to do it, and I honestly don't want to learn how to do it. I mean, I know that sounds silly, but I could see the temptation being real, especially if you've got a channel and it's not doing so well. And you think that AI will just do a better job, so let AI have at it. I honestly don't understand why you have a channel. If you're not willing, like if you don't want to have the input and you don't want to create something meaningful for people, like, I mean, I do understand why they have a channel. It's a cash cow. But I don't understand why you just don't go and do something else. Go and create an app that people want to use. So, it's just one of these things where, because I wouldn't do it, I don't understand the thinking behind why some people do. And like I remember there was a person in one of the chats I was in, not chats, one of the sort of paid education groups that I was in, and that person was really big into AI, and it was probably a little bit before the wave, so they were a little bit before their time. And they were trying to, they were like, oh yeah, check out this video that I got AI to do. And he was getting it to do the whole lot, find the topic, write the script, say the script use an AI voice to say the script, grab the AI B-roll. And this was a couple of years ago. So he was before his time, and he was he did really well with it. He's a pioneer in the industry. But I was just always like, well, why are you creating content at all? What's the point? Why not make the content around you creating the prompts, or you diving in or developing the systems? What's the point of this video? And I suppose I come at it from a person who feels the need to create something, hence sewing, knitting, spinning, crocheting, weaving, the myriad of other crafts that I do. And so I have this inherent need to create things, but I don't feel like writing a prompt matches that, at least not for me. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, ask AI to create the complex and detailed prompt, and then you can feed the AI with it. Yep. Look, I've asked AI to write some HTML code. The code didn't work, so I dropped the code in. Hey, there's something wrong with this code. Can you fix it? And it fixed it. I was just like, you couldn't have just done it right to start with. Like, I have to go through and do this, but it's one of these things. Checks and balances. A human needs to go and look at it, and find out. Ask the questions. Why does this not work? Can you fix this? Show me exactly where you needed to fix it. What was it that was broken? So I can still learn from it. I actually write that into the AI prompts that I use. I say that I'm an intern. I need to learn how to do this. Please explain it to me so that I can understand and be able to explain to somebody else why this is how it is, and go from there, because I still have this need to understand what it is I'm putting out. I can't just put out stuff and then have somebody come back and go, why was this like this? So you're like, because that's what the AI gave me. That's not a response. It's certainly not a response to an employer or a supervisor or anything like that. You still need to understand why and how everything works. Game Widow says it's the same with research results. In all what questions is all in what questions were asked. But like, even with that, you can go in the next day, ask the same questions and get different answers. Like, it's a little bit actually not even the next day. You can just open up a new chat, ask the exact same question and get different answers. It is mind-boggling. It's absolutely mind-boggling. But, well, it's mind-boggling to me that there's people that trust it. Like, let me know in the chat, do you just do stuff with AI and just trust it and not check it? Because that's where my concerns just instantly just like mount right up, as if we're not checking it. I got no qualms with utilizing the tools to save you time, and to fill any, like for me, sometimes I get it to fill a gap where I can't ask somebody a particular question of who I work with because of sometimes it's time zones. So I try to get the information myself, and then I'll go in, and if it's sort of like, I'm not even sure if this is right, I'll actually leave a message for that person so that when they log in the morning, I'll be like, look, this is where I got a bit stuck. And so I've utilized, thing here, and this is what it said, but it just doesn't sing quite true. Let me know where to go from here. And they'll let me know, like, oh yeah, that's actually how it is, blah, 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 blah. Or no, actually that's not even on the right path. So glad you checked. And so it's really important to be checking this stuff. You cannot just, and this is where I get just so blown away by the people that are just letting AI run their YouTube channels. Like, they don't check it. They don't double check it. They just assume that AI is doing what it's supposed to do. They don't in any way try, like, especially the AI thumbnails. Like, let me know in the chat. If you look at a channel these days, like you're scrolling through, you can be like, that's AI, that's AI, that's AI. Because there are some people that are not prompting they're not more deeply prompting their AI for thumbnails. Now, I'm all for using AI for your thumbnails. Don't get me wrong. I think it's actually an amazing tool. It kicks away some of the barriers for those of us that are just not great with Photoshop. Like, we have a vision in our mind, but we don't understand quite how to make the tools do what we want them to do. That's me. That's absolutely me. I know what I want to make, but I can't make it do it but I know somebody who is amazing at Photoshop could totally do it. It can be done, just not by me. And being able to sort of prompt and prompt and prompt and prompt and get it how you want it. That's one thing, but there's a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, look, image of this with these words on it. And it's getting these massively wordy, like basically telling the whole, like, this is the script for my YouTube video. Make me a title and put it in the thumbnail and make me a thumbnail that matches it. And it's kind of like the backwards way. Like, who remembers how many times we've been told by different YouTube educators that when we come up with an idea for a video, the first thing that we need to be doing is coming up with a title and a thumbnail, because if we cannot sell the idea, move on to something else. But so you got all these people prompting with their AI, like prompting with their scripts. So they've already made the video, they've already got the script, and they're like, okay, AI, come in and make something sort of at the back end for it. Dimmy Hard says, I triple check everything. Livestream Consultant says, are you kidding? Not a chance. I double check everything I get. Me too. Live streaming consultant says, I'm not a graphic artist, but I can see in my mind what I want and can describe it and then fine tune it once I got it. I think you and I are on the same page. I think we're on the same page with that. And as I said, I'm not against using these tools. I think they're phenomenal tools. I think we just need to be cautious in how we are using them and use them in such a way that it's not stripping us of our humanity. It's very, very, very simple to just sort of forget why we're creating content. It's very easy. Like even when running small businesses and things like that, it's not content related. It's very easy to get caught up in just the cycle of everything without actually like, oh, why is everything going bad? Blah, 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 blah. And rather than coming up with like a new product because you haven't had a fresh product in your product line for 2 years, or you know, a fresh take on an existing product, you're looking at everything else that could be the problem. But really what it is your customer base needs a new product to buy. And you know that because you used to do that every 12 months, you would create something cool for them. And then you stop doing it because you're getting so caught up in the other side of the business. I think content creation is the same way. It's so easy for us to get lost about the meaning behind our content for the sake of making the content. And just putting out something, whatever, is better than nothing at all. And I don't actually agree with that. I don't know if the people who work with would agree with that. But I think you're better off not putting out the crap and holding back and creating something a bit better. And it may not be your best work, but at least it's not garbage. Because your audience deserves more than what you know is garbage. I don't know. Like there's something to be said for flaws and mistakes and that humanity of flaws and mistakes. Like, welcome to my live stream. I can't put a sentence together. Sorry, my nose is just so itchy today. I apologize that I keep rubbing it. It's just like that little itch. Like, anyway, it's driving me insane. But yeah, so like having all of our flaws and our imperfections, right? It's kind of what makes us human. And AI just tries to make things so polished and perfect. And whenever you're like, hey, you know, AI, that doesn't sound like me at all. Then what they create is like an over polished version of you. And you're still like, yeah, that's still doesn't sound like me. It's just, I don't know. I'm probably barking. I'm probably on a hill that I'm going to die on alone, honestly. Livestream Consultant says, surprisingly, the image I created for the article I wrote on the copyright thing was very simple and got a lot of eyeballs. Look, I've created images with AI because I wanted to get a certain point across and I couldn't make it do it myself. So I got AI in there to help me out. But I went through it. I double checked everything to make sure I was happy with it. I still got called out for using an AI image. And you're just like, because I'd written, what was it? Oh, I'd written a little piece just for the yarn crafting community about how there was some knitters who traveled to Europe who totally lost their mind at how much merino cost in Europe. And I was just like, why are you buying merino in Europe? They've got like a bazillion other sheep breeds. Like, buy something local. Why would you buy something they have to import from basically Australia? And, you know, so for them, merino is an imported yarn. In Australia, it's not. It's our standard yarn here. And so so I had this graphic of like, you know, the little merino sheep in Australia, and it was like the fleece was traveling to China, then traveling to Europe, and then traveling back as skeins back to Australia, and they were wondering why it was double the cost of being in Australia. And you're just like, this is why that yarn is more well traveled than you are. But because I used AI to create the graphic, I got called out for creating AI content in the yarn crafting community, and you're just like, I did not create a fake. That's the other thing that's happening in the yarn community is the sheer number of fake patterns being sold, where someone's told AI to write a pattern for a top, and then funnily enough, it doesn't work. Someone buys the pattern from Etsy and it just doesn't work, and you're just like, yeah, yep. I see why there's some communities that are like no AI chat, no AI images, no AI posts, nothing AI is allowed here. And then other people come in and they lose their minds over the fact that they're not allowed to have AI help them, you know, with their grammar. And it's just like, that's not what we're talking about. Like, but yeah, it's I'm on a hill on my own. I understand that. So let me just have a look here. I've just realized I'm not in the right spot to be able to look at the back end of the YouTube. And that was why I was getting the weird audio reverb, at least on my end. I know it wasn't for all of you. I forgot to click the button to go into the back end of the stream, which is somewhere where I like to be. And just to make sure that everything is good. And I'm going to have to just double check something now, because let me know in the chat. Does your stream customized stream setting changes? Sometimes I'll go in and I'll look and my live chat replay will be unchecked. So I have to like make sure the live chat replay is there. Luckily for me today, it's checked. So that's good. But yeah, sometimes it just disappears. So like, I always am a little bit perplexed by the people that use like Ecamm or StreamYard or whatever the streaming tool is, but then they don't have YouTube open in the background as well, just to double check things. And I'm just like, and then this morning I just totally just forgot. I had YouTube open, but I hadn't clicked the next button to, like I was in the live stream, but I need to go into the back end of the live stream. Let's have a look here. So I scheduled from Ecamm, and it does that when I schedule from Ecamm. So I don't always go into YouTube and schedule from YouTube. And maybe that's to disconnect. Maybe that's what I need to be doing. Let me know in the chat what you do there, Doug. I know you use Ecamm as well, but I tend to schedule through Ecamm. Stab the flag into the top of that hill. Yeah, I'm going to. I've got my little pole. I'm just leaning on it all by myself, so it's fine. It's okay. And I do know I look at things from a roundabout perspective, because I'm looking at things from like a tech creator perspective, as well as from a yarn crafting background perspective, and also corporate Australia perspectives. I've got all the, like, these little things. Now it's been a hot minute since I was in corporate work. I miss it? I don't actually miss the corporate work itself. I actually miss working with people. Now, if you had have told me back when I was working in an open plan office with the little cubicle, like the little half height walls, that I would miss people walking around and interrupting me all the time, or that constant hum of noise of people's phones ringing and stuff, if you told me I was going to miss that, I would have laughed in your face. But I actually do miss it. I miss more the bumping into people in the kitchen and having a quick, like, oh, hey, how you doing? What are you up to? And also like just being able to just learn about what's going on at work, because I'm in the room. I'm right there. I can hear what's happening and going on, and I can understand where things are moving and pivoting to and stuff, because I'm actually in the room, and I miss all of that. I probably don't miss the constant hum of noise and the people around me all the time. That's probably what it is. Doug's saying here that Ecamm gives him a different preset, so he usually schedules from YouTube. Okay, yeah, I might have to start doing that and just I'll run a test with it and see what the difference is that I get. Because like with Ecamm and I think some of the other streaming softwares are catching up with it now. It's really great. When you schedule in YouTube, it just connects it. So when you go live, you can choose that this one that's in YouTube and connect to that. Whereas back in the day, if you had scheduled in YouTube with some of the other streaming softwares and then went live using the third-party encoder, it would just start a new stream. It wouldn't connect to what was already sitting in YouTube. So you used to have to do your setup within that software. So like StreamYard. I don't know if that's still the case with StreamYard now, because I haven't used it in a really long time. But it was definitely the case before that you had to schedule within StreamYard because you couldn't get it to connect if you scheduled from YouTube. What's it the other way around? Hot minute. It's been a hot minute. Doug says yes. Is that going to come up on screen? I did click it. Clicking? No, clicking's not going to work apparently. Where is my comments? That's not fair. I see them. Have I muted the comment? Let me have a look here. Oh, I think what it is somehow I made them very small. That's what it was. I don't know how or when I did that. That should be locked. Let me just go in and just lock that. Locking. There we go. Okay, let's have a look here. So Doug actually says, yes, some staff interaction is preferred. It gets lonely working solo, ongoing, like work from home. Yes, I've been working from home now for about 20 years. And yes is the answer to that. However, on the days that my husband works from home, it's frustrating because we don't work for the same people or the same industry. And so it's like it's like a shared office. It's nearly like like one of those places where people can go and book in a hot desk, and what are they called? My brain, I'm seeing the logo, but not the imagery of the logo. Anyway, where you can go in and just book a desk and sit there, but everyone's working for different companies and stuff. So if they're on a call, sometimes it's like a different language that they're talking. So, but yes, I definitely miss the staff interaction. Definitely. And it's not to say I don't get any interaction. I do. I get like, Slack huddles and things like that every now and again, but mostly not. And it does mean I can just focus on the work and get the work done. That's fine. But, sometimes having the people around. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The WeWorks. The WeWorks is what I was trying to work of. The co-locations. Yes. Thank you, Doug. My brain just was just like, I could see the logo. It was the WeWork logo that I could see. Are they as popular as they were? Like, I used to hear about them all the time. And now I sort of hear about them a lot less, but they were very popular for a hot minute. I know that like some offices, especially here in Brisbane, they're really trying to get their staff to come back into work because they've got all these empty offices. But then the companies are downsizing the offices because not as many people come in, and then they're like, but actually we still want everyone to come in, but there's not enough desks for everyone anymore. Gone are the days where everyone had their own desk. Oh, yeah, and the odd Facebook message from the crazies. Yeah. Of course there's the odd Facebook message from the crazies. Or I'm the crazy sending the odd message as well. That also happens. I'm also the crazy out there going, hey, random creator, I noticed this. Do you need, I can talk to you about that if you like. I did that yesterday. There's an Australian YouTuber who I actually watch all the time. And he put out this video about how he was just so disappointed with Facebook right now because somebody's stealing his content. They're adding like some AI drama to it, like an AI person basically screaming at like the POV, except that didn't happen. And then they're uploading it to YouTube using all of the rest of his content, but just with this AI fake person screaming at them. just every now and again interjecting. It's not even through the whole video. And Facebook are just useless. And so I was just messaging him about like some of the options that he could do there. But I was the crazy. Doug says, I also fear the opposite. If I worked from home, I'd get interrupted by the fam. And look, that absolutely happens. That absolutely happens. I'll be sitting here like trying to think of something that I need to type and I'll be working on it. I'll have Abby yelling at me from another room. And I'm like, I'm just trying to just like, give me a minute. I'm just doing this thing. And it absolutely happens. And when I first started working from home, because I first started my own business when Abby started school. And it was because I wanted the flexibility to be able to go and be that parent who could go in and do the reading session times and the craft session times and be able to go in and give my time to the school and the class as well, like the parent helper. And be able to, you know, go and do that at least once a week and things like that. And finding a job in Australia they talk about these school hour jobs, except they are school hours. Like they're 9 till 3, except quite often you've got to pick your kid up at 3. And you might be half an hour or 45 minutes from the school. So it's not actually a school hour job. It's just a 9 till 3 job. It's just a part-time job because it's also during school holidays. So it's just like, okay, now I've got to find somewhere for my small child to go all day, 5 days a week. And so, yeah, it was just one of these things where it was just, I looked into it and I talked to a few interviewers and stuff like that about it. And it was just like, it was not a school hours job. And it was not like conducive to actually, like, they're like, we're so parent friendly, we're so family friendly, blah, blah. And then you just like, you get there and you're like, no, you're really not. Because like one of the first things they say is you're not allowed to take calls while you're at work and you're not allowed to do this. And I get that. But don't come out there saying that you're a family friendly employer if your kid's school can't ring you because the kid is sick or something has happened. You know, like that's not family friendly at all. Anyway, that's a whole other problem I had. But I ended up deciding to start my own small business and just try and bring in a little, because that was the other problem with going back into basically, you know, having not worked for 6 years. I needed, well, no, not 6 years, how old? So 5 years. I needed to then I wasn't where I was in the ladder. I needed to sort of start at a lower level. And then you take daycare fees out of that, fuel or cost of travel to get to work. I was actually negative what I would earn in a part-time job by the time I paid for all the things. And it was just like, well, that's not worth it. Like it's actually going to cost me to go to work. I don't know if that's exactly the plan here. So being able to start my own business, it was very small to start with, and just bring in just little bits of income here and there, but also have the pure flexibility of being able to do what I needed to do. That was a huge thing. But yeah, it's one of those things. Livestream Consultant says he is creating a separated from the house dedicated space so he doesn't have to deal with all the household drama. Doug says, I do have a dedicated space, which is good, but they still find me if they want something. That's about where I'm at. I've got a bedroom in the house, but it's right next to the bathroom and Abby's bedroom and the kitchen and everything. So I'm not far away. I shut the door, and if I shut the door, that usually means that I can't be interrupted, but sometimes that doesn't stop the interruption because it's very important to them that they say what they need to say. I could be in a live stream or on a call and someone's head will poke in and ask a question. You got a minute? No, I don't. Okay, well, I just want to ask this. And you're just like, okay. Doug's live stream consultant says Doug needs to put a zapper on them so if they get too close, they get tagged just like puppy dogs. I've got a tweaked sense of humor. I would video it also. I love that. It's like I've got a tweaked sense of humor, and I would also video that. That is gold. That's a channel in itself, right? Although you'd probably get called out for family abuse for doing that. Yeah. So I know it's been a hot minute since I've been on, and I don't know what you guys are all working on. Tell me, who's been live streaming lately? I know Doug has, because I've been in his chats modding. So that's fun. But what's everyone else been doing? Like, what are you up to? Are you making content? Are you consuming content? Are you researching? Are you live streaming? Because right now is such a good time to be live streaming, honestly. I mean, I know there's lots of streams out there, and you don't have to stream like me with the random thoughts. You could actually, make something good. But yeah, like let me know. Content for the win. Yeah, I'm seeing Doug put out like some extra videos as well, which is so good to see. I know sometimes it's like it's really easy for like our whole world just to be a little bit too much. And it's just like, okay, so I've got a job, I've got my family, I'm doing live streams, I'm doing shorts, and now I need to do long form, and now it can get a little bit, much. And so sometimes you just need a moment to readjust everything and then go forward. You're going to send me an AV cart that you're just about done with? Well, that's cool. I'm going to be going to the hardware store to work out where my order for my cart is. My cart will hold a sewing machine, however, not any AV equipment. Doug says we need more streams. We do need more streams. Oh yeah, Doug's stream is 7:30 a.m. Saturdays EST, because Doug's line up just before Nick's, because Nick's is 9 a.m. EST. And then after that, so Saturdays is like the stream day, right? Because then sometimes Daryl will stream after that, or Opus Clip will stream after that. So yeah, it's the stream day. I did not want to be involved in that stream day because I would like some sleep at some stage on a Saturday night. So that's why I do mine here. But you get to choose when you do your streams. Like, you get to like work out when your audience are online, and excuse me, sorry. Wow. Okay. Tickle in my throat. You get to work out when your own audience is online, or when you think you could get them back online to watch your stream. Understanding who your audience is and how your streams can affect them or impact them is always a good game to work out what exactly you'll put into your streams to make it worthwhile for your audience. That's something I struggle with. That was sort of over the last couple of weeks. I haven't been, like, the first one I was quite unwell, so that was like a total out. But then last week I was a bit like, I don't even know what I would talk about, and because I was still a bit like snowed under with work and everything, and my brain just couldn't come up with like a topic, which that's never stopped me before, but for some reason last week it stopped me. So yeah, so this week I had a topic-ish, sort of. Doug says, if I streamed after Nick, I'd be a zombie. Yeah, I see that. I do. Then Doug saying, does anyone have any recent wins? Oh, absolutely. I want to hear about all of your wins, because sometimes even like, I know everyone focuses on like, oh, I got a silver play button. Oh, I got a gold play button. But you know what's a win? Oh, I got an upload for the first time in a month. That's a win. Oh, I got a great comment that really encouraged me. That's a win. Or I learnt something when I was editing this. Even if the video itself didn't do great, I learnt a thing. That in my book is a win. So no wins are too small. And this is the thing that gets really frustrating, is that everyone focuses so heavily on these subscriber wins that we forget about all of the other wins that we have, all the little wins that just help give us that little bit more momentum and a little bit more, oomph to keep going. Oh, I'll check that after the stream, live stream consultant. Thank you for sharing. But yeah, so like all these little things, these little momentums. Like, one of the big wins that I had was when I set up this desk. But for like, it's a cabling nightmare, let me tell you. Like, let's not look under it, okay? But having the monitors so that I can move them in and out of the way for different things having a big open area for me to be able to crafting, because I have another camera here for crafting, being able to utilize it for this stream, for the other stream, for video recording if I want to record, being able to have it ready for any sort of Zoom calls or huddles that I need to have with a camera on, being able to just control everything simply was such a game changer for me, because I didn't have that. I had when I first started my channel, I quite literally built a set in my living room in the morning, set up my camera, set everything up, recorded the video, left the set built there while I quickly double checked I had everything. Then I would pull that set down, start editing, go and pick my daughter up from school, continue editing, and then make dinner and then continue editing and start the upload. And because our internet speed here was so awful, a 5-minute video that wasn't even, it was only like 720p, would take literally 12 hours to upload. And now I've gone from that to walk into this room, press some buttons on my phone, turn on the camera, turn on the Rodecaster, and choose my poison. Am I going live or am I pre-recording? Good, boom, done, let's go. Everything's set up and ready to go. And having that change still takes me forever to edit. I just want to clarify that. Also, our internet speed has gone from a 3 to 4 megabit per second upload to 90. So that's also a huge changer. I can now upload 4K content in less time than I used to upload 720p content. So yeah. The cart is my win for the last few weeks. That is awesome. Building out something that, let me just have a quick look. Let's have a quick squiz. I don't know if I can, I don't have my phone set up to share the screen today. But let's have a quick squiz. Oh wow, this is a full on. I was expecting it to be one of those sort of you know, it's basically like, I think a doctor's surgery, like doctor at hospitals, how they have the little trolley with the little computer on it with like your blood pressure machine. I was thinking that sort of thing. I've seen some creators create transportable work hubs with their cameras and mics on it, but that's totally different. You've built like an entire set on that. Let's have a look here. Mine, did it not quite happen? Was going to say mine is 12K. Let me have a look. Doug Hewson is so close to 12K subscribers. Let's have a look here. Where's he at? Oh, you're being rounded up to 12K. Are you 12K? Like, did you hit it? Because on YouTube, you are rounded up to 12K right now. Let's have a look. There you go. Look at that. 12K. Is that a roundup, or is that, I mean, it's here. Everyone, it looks like you've got 12K. So, you know, you crossed it yesterday. That's, Doug, congratulations. That's so awesome. Where's my fireworks when I need fireworks? Hang on a second. I've got fireworks. I've just got to find them. It's going to take me a little minute. I mean, this one. We'll have this one. There we go. It's not quite fireworks. It's not quite fireworks. But it's there. It's there. What's this one? Yeah, fire. Fire. Oh my gosh. I'll turn on the hand gestures. Oh yeah, good point. Good point. That would do it. No, I'm not turning it on. Like, I haven't turned it on since I turned it off because it was freezing things. It was not doing me any favors. I had to just turn it off. I'd be in, what was it? I'd be in, No, I'd just be recording. That's what it was. I'd be recording and I'd be like doing a thumbs up, and then the whole thing would just freeze. And you'd just be like, man, I'm gonna have to re-record that whole thing now because it just literally froze. So I turned that off hard. That's why I made the video, because of my frustration levels. Livestream consultant says, subscribe to Doug if you have not. He has earned it. Oh, absolutely. Doug deserves to be like way higher. Like what he does for our community of YouTube educators is just insanity. He is like in all the live streams, in all the communities, modding all of the Facebook groups, the Discords, everything across such a huge swathe of creators who are all here helping. I am absolutely shocked that there's not more people who've subscribed to Doug, just sheerly because of all the work he does and the regular live streams with keeping, not just updating the YouTube news, but explaining the YouTube news in a meaningful way so that people understand it. Like, I don't understand the people that say they love YouTube and that say they love learning about YouTube that don't actually go in and subscribe to the channels that are teaching people about YouTube. I don't get that, honestly. Now, I do understand that subscribers don't mean as much as they used to, until YouTube stop putting any weight at all on subscribers. I'm going to keep saying subscribers matter. I'm on a channel right now. This particular channel is not in YPP because subscribers matter. I can't send you all over like a redirect over to another live stream because subscribers matter. I don't have the 1,000 subscriber minimum to be able to do that. I've got a channel in good standing with no copyrights, but subscribers matter more than that. So, I mean, this is where the frustration comes in. Subscribers don't matter in anything about algorithmic viewing and things like that, but they matter for everything else. And so when YouTube and large creators come out and say subscribers don't matter, you're just sort of sitting there looking at your channel where you don't have access to all the tools because of your subscriber numbers. And you're like, okay, I see where you're coming from. However, right now, subscribers matter because I'm locked out of things. I don't have access to things because of subscriber counts. So subscribers matter. So yeah, I do get a little frustrated. Like and as I just said, I do understand the larger logic, the beyond logic. I do get that it's not like you have to have 11 zillion subscribers to actually have a bumper video. That's not the case anymore. If your audience watch it, YouTube shares it more. If they respond, they share it. So you can have a viral video on a small channel. I get that side of it for sure. That's fine. Subscribers don't actually matter that much there. However, if you have a large subscriber base and you make a video that your largest subscriber base all responds to, then that goes out to more people, and it's exponentially larger and quicker. Whereas when it comes to accessing tools and accessing things to learn and being able to support each other, like, why would it not be amazing for a bunch of small scale YouTube live streamers, so streamers under 1,000 who are just getting started out, why would it not be amazing that if they're in channels with good standing, sending each other's audiences, like think of like gaming channels where, you know, they're playing similar games or something like that, being able to send the audience onto each other and help each other and build a really big combined community. Like, how is that not a good thing? I get that some people are tool bags and they are just awful humans and they, you know, flout this, but some of those people have got bigger channels as well. They're already over the subscriber limit. They can still send in a raid party that just writes vitriol in a chat. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Livestream consultants, Learn Live Streaming is here, and he says, now that I have 1,000 subscribers, I'm so excited to use the live stream trailers and redirect features. Absolutely. How amazing is it to have access to the tools that could have been useful this whole time? Honestly, I do get frustrated by this. Is it obvious? Is it obvious that I get annoyed by this? Yeah. If that ain't the truth about the shows feature, I think the collab feature is helping with some of the subscriber issues. The collab feature, I don't think you can use it unless you've. I need to double check that. Doug, can you double check that for me? Because I thought there was a subscriber count for collab feature as well, but I could be wrong. Let's have a look here. John's made a live, he's made a trail of my last live stream, but then I couldn't add it, and it turns out it needs to be at least 15 seconds long, and it was only 6 seconds long, so you had to recut it. Oh, no. Yeah, because the trailer, it just, yeah, it's one of those things. Oh, fair enough. I was here earlier, but I had to leave as the AI talk was making my blood pressure levels unhealthy. I understand. I do understand. Yeah. As a live stream person, you get it. You get the advantages of live streaming. So, but yeah, it's just definitely, it is frustrating when we're constantly being told subscribers don't matter. And then actually, like, oh, actually, no, you can't use that because you don't have 1,000 subscribers, or you don't have access to that because you don't have 10,000 subscribers, or, you know, it's like, I get that they are trying to protect the majority of things. I really do. I understand YouTube's got to walk a really tight line here. Oh, the YouTube page doesn't mention eligibility for collab feature. Oh, that's good to know. That's good to know. Did we try and test something and it worked, and I just have not gone any further with it? Maybe. Well, that's great if the collab feature is for everybody. That is good. Because that's important. It's important. So why aren't we able to have more of these? Like, why do we have to have 1,000 subscribers to be able to have a channel trailer, like a live stream trailer? Like, what is it about the magic 1,000 number that makes it where you don't have the ability, like, you don't have. I'm sorry. I'm so like, oh, here. My brain's frozen because I'm just like, Ugh. Why is the magic 1,000 number blocking us from a channel trailer? Do you know what I mean? Like, shouldn't any of the copyright rules or the community guidelines, any of that stuff, should be able to keep an eye on making sure those channel trailers are good, right? So why does a subscriber level matter for that? I don't know. I just, like, a channel in good standing, I get. Absolutely. Channel in good standing, channel with advanced features, sure. All of those things. But why does it have to be a subscriber count when we're being told a subscriber count means nothing? Anyway, I just, no. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Now my blood pressure levels are getting to unhealthy levels. I would love to collaborate more as well. Maybe we should have a chat. John says, I think YouTube wants to prove you're a real creator with some staying power before you use or potentially misuse those features. But it's a pre-roll for a live stream. Like, when you upload it, it still goes through all the normal checks and stuff. How is that any different from being able to just have a video? You're allowed to upload a video before you're at 1,000 subscribers, right? Anyway, Oh, maybe this is where I got confused. It opens up the opportunity to collab with creators that are a little ahead to thousands. A little ahead to thousands ahead? I don't know. Trying to live stream unlocks, I reckon. You guys have been hanging out with me too much. It's like, yeah. Oh my gosh. I believe there've been some historical live stream video stuff with new accounts that they're trying to avoid. That's why they have the, when you want to start a new, like when you start a new channel and you want to live stream, there's a 24-hour wait. I get all of that. I understand why there's a delay in unlocking for live streaming. I think that's really important. I don't think that should be quicker. I think that if you want to live stream, you need to plan it. But I think that, you know, you need to, like, that's one thing, but I don't understand why having a channel trailer or a live stream, like being able to add a trailer to your live stream, why that is locked. Because you can upload, you can have that video live on your channel, no problems. You can use a video that's live on your channel to be your channel trailer, no problems. That's how Nick has the coffee song. It's in a playlist on his channel. He can just connect it up and there's the coffee song. He's got the coffee song ready. It's just a case of clicking and choosing. I just don't understand, like, am I missing something with the channel trailer? Or the live stream trailer? Like, I could be missing something. I mean, my brain's not 100% here. So when we can't have channel trailers, or sorry, live stream trailers until we have 1,000 subscribers. However, we could upload that exact video as a live video on our channel, no problems. That could absolutely be uploaded and be sitting right there. Then why are we unable to have a channel trailer, especially of a video that would be suitable? Like, it's got to go through all the checks and balances. Anyway, I'm confused. I think I'm confused here. Yeah, if you've got 50 subs or less, you are limited to how many people can join your live streams. Absolutely. If your channel has 100 subs, you can collab with a channel that has 1,000 subs. Or if you are fortunate one that has 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, I think that, hang on a second. Although candidly, I don't think anyone except me watched my live trailers, so don't feel too much FOMO about it. No, but it's like, it's the frustration of why it's locked behind it. There are some things like monetization. I can see why they want you to prove that you are, you know, legit to be able to apply for monetization. I see that. I don't necessarily agree with the live stream limits, with the subscriber limits on that, but I understand they had to do something. No problems. I understand why we can't have just anybody sending out their live chat audience to raid another channel. I get that as well, although the channels that do the most damage are usually bigger channels who have the functionality. So again, why the limitation? So yeah, it's one of the things. Doug says that Andrew mentioned that Stations is going to roll out beyond the music artist channels, basically a YouTube version of the 24/7 live feeds. That'll be interesting. I can see why it's advantageous for music and artist channels, because then you've just got like that music playing. And like with things like the BBC having multiple YouTube channels where they've been able to split things up. I don't know. Do you guys know about that? How the BBC in the UK are basically put all their content on YouTube. So being able to set up a program like a TV network would actually be really advantageous for those sorts of guys. Don't know that it'll be good for every channel to do that. I wonder what kind of limitations they'll have for things. Redirect should be allowed. It has guardrails already. Absolutely, I agree. If you don't want people redirecting to your channel, you can lock it so your channel can't be redirected to. Simple. People can't just redirect to anybody if there's guardrails. And yeah, this is the thing. I don't understand why we can't have redirects, and I don't understand why we can't have a channel trailer. Other things I kind of get, But those two things in particular are just like, why not? Like, I understand, like, shopping's limited to those in YPP. I get that. I understand why YPP has its limitations to get to that. I understand that. But these two things in particular, and there'll probably be some others, but these two things in particular for live streamers being locked behind subscriber counts does my head in. They've proved over and over again that a small audience where they are loyal and, you know, like they're your core audience, they've proven over and over again that a channel can survive financially on this sort of thing, on these small channels. They've proven over and over again that if you build a really good community, you can survive financially that way. Whether it's with memberships off platform, because you can't do it on platform, memberships off platform, products to sell, things like that. Even with these small, tight knit audiences, you can generate enough income to sustain your channel. Maybe not as a full-time job, but enough there to keep it going. So they prove that, and they talk about that all of the time. But then they're like, but actually, because your channel's so small, we don't actually take you seriously. So we're not going to give you any of this stuff. So yeah, yeah. Learn Live Streaming says, I could have sworn that YouTube had some sort of show type playlist years ago. They had a series where you could choose a playlist or a series. Now, the catch with putting something into a series was you could not then add it into any other playlist. It was in the series. That was the only place it was allowed. That was the strict order that you put it in. And they got rid of it because no one was using it because of how strict the rules around it were. But back then they also weren't competing with the likes of Netflix and Amazon Prime and things like that. So, and I think the thing that we need to be really clear here about shows is it's not just another playlist, right? Like I'm notorious for this. I made a podcast playlist of my live stream. So I go and add all my live streams into that. So you can go and listen to them if you want as a podcast rather than visually, which is one of the big reasons why I don't have lots of big on-screen things and I try to describe things, and is because I know that I actually do have listeners who listen as a podcast rather than watch. But when it comes to these new show playlists, these need to be your high quality content that is like a TV show. And that's what they're aiming for. So there are some channels out there right now that already make this sort of content, and they're building out their own sort of little playlists and what have you. This will really benefit those kinds of content, those kinds of things. Like look at Good Mythical Morning as a prime example. They have a regular format daily show. So it's like a daytime TV kind of thing where they have different segments, where it's the same format, different content. And it's just one of these things where and they think of themselves running in seasons and episodes. They already do it. They talk about it during the thing. They'll be like, we're having a hiatus between seasons, and they have this break in June or July or something. And so they already think of, and have done since the start, they already think of their show in seasons. And so it's going to really benefit things like that. Now, Good Mythical Morning is actually just announced that it's going to be on Netflix. So Good Mythical Morning, The Mythical Kitchen. I don't know if Good Mythical More is making it to Netflix or not, but they're saying you can just watch it in either place. It's going to be available daily on both places. So you've got YouTube channels that are being taken to, like, just their regular YouTube content is going to be over on Netflix. So it's not even like how you've got Mr. Beast having Beast Games on Amazon, where it is different than where it is like totally different content. Like it's one particular show over on there, and that is not on YouTube. It is an Amazon exclusive. Whereas with this Netflix deal with Good Mythical Morning, then that's actually their YouTube content is also playing on Netflix. So it just broadens their audience to people that don't watch YouTube, that are Netflix people. And so, but as Daryl said, Netflix, Netflix doesn't have the same sort of discovery as, or Amazon even. They don't have the same discovery as YouTube, but you will find a new audience there, I think. Back when, hang on a second, back when the idea of a web series was shiny and new, yeah, absolutely. Like you look at like The Guild, which was like a TV show, well, not a TV show, but a web series that was created by Felicia Day. That thing was phenomenal, and that was a web series. Like Sanctuary, the TV series with Amanda Tapping, its first episode, it was going to be a web series, and then it got picked up by Sci-Fi Network. So like there are things out there. There's definitely things out there. Let me see. The UK wants to force YouTube to feed their content ahead of everything else in the UK, which throws a monkey wrench in the algorithm over there. So, from what I understand, the UK is trying to to change legislation to turn YouTube into a broadcaster. So YouTube will be classed as a broadcaster in the UK rather than whatever it is now, which I actually don't know. And they're going to have to run under the UK broadcast laws, which means a certain percentage of UK content has to show. So in Australia, we have broadcast laws, which means that a certain percentage of Netflix content and Amazon content and whatnot shown to Australians has to be a certain percentage of Australian content. So it encourages them to do productions here in Australia and things like that. So, but they get around it by like buying the rights to like Blue Heelers, which is like 8 seasons of 42 episodes a season kind of thing. So that takes up a decent percentage, and all the old Australian, so they're not necessarily bringing much of the new stuff in, but they're putting in the replays of the old stuff, which is cool because I'm kind of watching it because it's nostalgic from the 90s. But yeah, so they have to have a certain percentage of content, and so the UK has similar laws where the broadcasters that broadcast in the UK have to have a certain percentage of content that's made in the UK, and they want YouTube to do the same thing. I'm very curious to see how that all unfolds over there with that. Doug says, I have a podcast version and I just turned my video playlist into a show for demo purposes. I would be really curious to see how that goes, Doug. Because, I consider your weekly live stream as a show. That's a weekly news show. I would not be surprised if you saw something like that pop up on the ABC. Like, that's how I see it. And I think that fits in as a show. You have like, it's a live show even. But you have like regular segments, regular throws, all that sort of stuff. But you also have the live interaction, asking questions as well. That's a bit different, but you do have a lot of the boxes to tick there. Another good example is the YouTube channel Mythfits podcast. Mythfits. That's a hard one. John says, I kind of forget that there are Netflix people. There are Netflix people. There really are. That is something that some people do not understand, as not everyone is on YouTube. Look, I'm going to be really frank and honest here. My husband was not a YouTube person. He watched Netflix. He was an Amazon Prime Netflix person, and he was not a YouTube person. And it wasn't until we got some Google TVs. So we bought a really cheap, dodgy one for his man cave, which is not great. So he would use it, but it wasn't his favorite. But when we needed to upgrade our lounge room television, we got a nice Sony job, and the YouTube app on that is fantastic. He became a YouTube person when it became easy for him to watch it on television. And now he watches YouTube every day. I don't think he even watches network television anymore. It's either YouTube, Prime, or Netflix, or Paramount. And it's quite often YouTube. So, it's one of these things where, like, even in my household where I talk YouTube all day, every day, people in my household are not YouTube people. So, yeah. John says, the young folk won't know this, but there was a time when YouTube Australia had its own homepage, and if you were lucky enough to be featured, people would see your stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like back in the day. Back in the day. A decent chunk of Hollywood movies get made down under. Yeah, and because like they have to have a certain percentage, like if they want to make a content in Australia, they need to hire a certain number of Australian actors, but also they're hiring full Australian. Like within the movie industry, Australia has a really, really great reputation for production. Our production crews are just up there. They really are. So, you know, it's not like oh, we're just filming here because it's cheap. Like, yeah, it's probably cheaper than LA, but it's not, it's still good. And also, for whatever, I've got a friend who's in like the film industry in Australia, and he loses his mind because Australia will have subsidies and programs for bringing content to Australia. They will help these companies make their box office movies in Australia, but heaven forbid an Australian production company wants to make something in Australia because they don't get any support because all the money is going into bringing in the internationals. So yeah, there's an upside and a downside to that as well. The FCC here in the States, if you are on the federal airways, we have some similar rules, but they do not apply to the internet. Oh, there you go. Yeah. That's the thing. It's a 100% repeatable format, weekly episodic show. It deserves to be in the shows. Absolutely. They lurk among us, the Netflix people. Hey, don't diss our man caves. I'm not dissing man caves. Tim's space is, I diss the space that we've got for him because I've got a room. He doesn't have a room. He has a glorified hallway, okay? So we've got this weird space in our house. It's between our dining room and our bedroom, right? It's the size of a room, but it's open-ended on both ends. It's like, well, if you shut our bedroom door, that wall closes, but there's no way to shut it off from the dining room. And it's the size of a small bedroom. But it's just like a wide hallway. And for whatever, there's actually glass double sliding door cupboard in there as well. And you're just like, was this a bedroom at some stage? And now it's not. Like, we often try, we've never been able to find the original plans to our house. Like, we found the approved plans, which we've got, which shows it as is, but we've never been able to find the actual original plans because we've got a feeling that there were some changes made. And that room we think is one of them. But yeah, I sort of say man cave, but it's not really a man cave. It's his man hallway. The pre-Beaupre days. Pre-Beaupre. Like, let's just not remember, like, let's just ignore that I've got to work around a stutter here. Doug says my daughter is studying film and television. So proud. That's awesome. That is so good. I hope she does really well with it too, because it's such a big industry here. Fun fact, I made a video, this is from John, Learn Live Streaming. I made a video of me improvising on a musical keyboard and got it featured on the Australian homepage. It was wild. Oh my gosh, there you go. That's enormous. I have a fun fact. I took a photo. It was just a serendipitous moment. I happened to have my camera with me. I'd gone out. I saw one of my new roses, excuse me, was opening and there was morning dew. So I thought, oh, that'll be a good photo. I go out there. On one of the other rose bushes was a praying mantis cocoon that had just opened and all the babies were coming out. And I grabbed some photos of that and it was featured in the Burke's Backyard magazine. Like, my photo got published, man. And it's such a good, like, oh my gosh. And then I found out later, like, because I didn't really understand much about it, but I found out later that you only have a couple of minutes to get that photo because of how the babies learn about predators. The predators know that there's going to be like a huge food source very soon. So they wait around the cocoon for them to hatch to eat them. And so they scatter really fast. So it was just one of those things where I, just happened to be in the right place at the right time with a camera that took a nice photo. Live stream consultant says everywhere else is cheaper than LA, other than Chicago or New York. Yeah. Didn't I? I may have misheard. But isn't there I thought I heard that the American government was somehow trying to legislate some big old tariffs for any TV and movie content that was being made in say Canada or Australia. So if it wasn't filmed in the US, the companies who the distribution companies and the production companies were going to have to pay some ridiculous tariffs to be able to show those movies on American movie screens. Was that just something that got thrown out there and never happened, or because there's a bit of that going on? Because I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, majority of American TV shows made in Canada. Do you know what I mean? Like Star Wars movies, Eastern Europe, it's just, yeah. Yeah, do some digging, because I thought I heard that there was going to be some tariff on non-American produced movie and television content, and if they wanted it aired on, well, not aired, but screened on American movie screens. Yeah, Burke's Backyard. That's back there with the blue heelers. It's not that far, because we lived in this house and I had Abby. So it's less than 21 years ago. It's less than 19 years ago, because that's how long we've been in this house. And so, shh. Oh. But yeah, it's kind of weird when you're doing some math redos and working out how old different shows and stuff are. You're like, oh my gosh, I love this show. And then you realize, oh my gosh, that show was made 40 years ago. I was on your homepage. Wow. Thank you. Wow. That's not a great, I'm going to pull that off. There we go. Not a great image to be bringing into my live streams, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. That's actually something that I should point out, is the caution over what we're using for our images in our what, my words have just stopped. We upload our profile images, because they could actually get you done just as easily as any of the content on your channel. So just making sure that it's keeping it family friendly, advertiser friendly, all that sort of stuff. And just making sure that you're not giving YouTube any excuses to do anything to your channel. So yeah. But yeah, I'm very excited that I was on your homepage. So that's pretty cool. You love AI? AI creators are taking over. Oh, okay. That's not where we went with this conversation. John says, that's why I turn off the avatar display in the Social Stream Ninja. There you go. There you go. Fun fact, Burke's Backyard ran for 17 years and wrapped in 2004. There you go. Where are we at? Well, oh no, that was the Burke's Backyard TV show. The Burke's Backyard magazine ran for longer than the TV show did, I think. Okay, so we've had some research done. Currently, no formal tariffs or duties on US studios filming in TV shows or movies. However, President Trump has actively proposed imposing the 100% tariff on all foreign-made films. Okay, because that's probably where I heard it. What do you think of AI OnlyFans creators? Well, I'll be honest, I'm not an OnlyFans person. I don't know anything about OnlyFans. I'm not the person to ask the advice of when it comes to that. But like if you watch the start of the stream, I'm not a proponent of completely AI content. I think that you absolutely have to have human interaction in there somewhere. And you need to be making sure that the humans actually make the decisions, not the AI. So that's where I stand with that. So you have every right to disagree. But I think that going forward, the need for human interaction is going to become greater and greater and greater, especially with the abundance of AI content that's being created. And I think if you have a real life person in your live streams, I'm thinking YouTube because that's where I live. I don't know about other platforms, but I think that on YouTube specifically, as long as you are creating content where there are humans involved, you will get a deeper human connection. That's true. It's true. I don't have only one fan. Well, OnlyFans is not only one fan, it's OnlyFans. Yeah, so I don't know too much about OnlyFans, I'll be really honest. You have a great day as well. But yeah, it's just one of these things. So having the proposed tariffs being bandied about for non-US made content just seems like obviously it was a threat, and I'm glad to see that it hasn't actually come into place yet, because I sort of saw that, and it was a little while ago, and I was like, oh man, is that actually going to happen? Like, some things are being pushed through, so I mean, it could happen. It just could. What about only air conditioners? Oh yeah, bring on the air conditioners. I'm cool with air conditioners. Like, more air conditioners is better. But being able to have I don't understand why they want to limit the content, where the content's created, where the movies are created. Like in all seriousness, if they want to make a movie that is based on the Bahamas, where are they going to shoot it? Like, they're not allowed to go to the Bahamas because I'll have to pay 100% tariff. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's really short-sighted. But anyway, I'm kind of glad that it hasn't actually come into play yet, and it was just something that was said. So I will worry less about that. Yeah, that was a little awkward. So we'll see. But yeah, on that note, everybody, I'm actually gonna have to bail because I've got to get some other stuff done today. And I've had a really good time, and I'm so glad that you all jumped in and that we were able to have this conversation about AI and about how live streaming is for humans. Well, it's not for humans. There's VTubers have been around forever. Honestly, they really have, and I mean no disrespect to VTubers, but they usually have a person behind it with a filter or some sort of production image covering who they are. It's sometimes it's even just to protect themselves. So I'm not talking about VTubers. I'm talking about those people that create AI content that in no way has been filtered by a human. And I think that live streaming will always beat that. Anyway, if they implement that, it will make creating the Bahamas content by YouTube even better. Yeah, that's actually really true. That's really, really true. Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to bail. I'll catch you all next week. Be awesome. Have a great time. Remember that as a human, vet everything AI tells you. Don't just believe it. Vet it, question it, and go forward from there. All right. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. I can't find my screen. There it is. Bye.